So what is SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what I knew about search engine optimization when I started the Daily Pitch and what I've realized it actually is and how it works, what it takes to rank, it is so much different than what I initially learned. When I first came into it, I knew that you had to have keywords embedded in your articles for them to get recognized. But that really is only the very first step. Now, there are some tools that help with that. Two of the tools that I read about a lot were either Rank Math or Yoast. We chose Yoast, and I'm not at all upset about that. It's been very beneficial and helpful for us. So what Yoast does is it helps to optimize the titles, the meta description, make sure that the words that we do choose as our keywords are optimized in the article, that they're used an appropriate amount of time. It really analyzes everything you're doing in your content writing to make sure that it is optimally positioned to rank in Google. Does that mean it will rank in Google? Not necessarily. While that's part of it, it isn't necessarily all of it, because the other thing that's important is to make sure that the keyword that you're using is something people are searching for, right? If you pick a keyword that nobody is actively looking for on Google, you could SEO optimize your article around that keyword, but it doesn't necessarily mean that people are still going to find the content, right? It would have to be something people are actually looking for. And so initially, when you don't have a budget, there are tools you can use, program, software, services that will help you get better keywords. There are things like Ahrefs, SEMrush. Two of those tools are the Cadillac of search engine optimization. They really give you deep insights, not just about your keywords, but about your page, about competitive pages, about other keywords that other people are using, where your keyword opportunities are, where your backlink opportunities are, all of that good stuff. Again, don't have the budget for those kinds of tools. One of the things that we ended up doing was starting out by going to Google. If you start typing in something, it will autofill. What that autofill does is give you the most often searched for terms based on that keyword. So that's one strategy that we deployed early on, and that helped a little bit. The other thing that we did was looked at Google Trends and see what keywords are trending. The problem with Google Trends is that it's really difficult to kind of find a keyword, like put in a keyword and see what the trends are, see what the metrics are. The information is a little bit challenging to understand. It gives you trends in a very high up fashion and it doesn't necessarily give you depth. Remember last week when I talked about page authority and I was excited that our page authority had jumped up? If you have a hot keyword and all of the other websites are covering that topic, have a greater domain authority, greater depth of content, and are leveraging Google AdWords, you're still never going to get seen. You're going to be pushed all the way down to the bottom because you have all of these other people pushing you out of the way. So even if you do have a good keyword, sometimes that's not enough, right? It has to be a good keyword with good search volume. As SEMrush talks about, they get into keyword difficulty. But again, it's a little price prohibitive for where we're at right now. So even though it's a great tool that could give us some really good insights on the kinds of keywords that we can use, whether it's a difficult keyword to rank against, what the volume of that keyword is, unfortunately, we just can't see that level of stuff.